Good evening and welcome to episode 22 of Podcast for Dads. This is Jay, aka HinduDad. Alongside me, we have our co-host, Mr. B, Bav, and today's guest. I'm good. How are you, bro?
I'm good.
We're late because of you, so I'm going to drop it on you to introduce our guest.
It's called technical difficulties. Okay, that's what it's called.
Where's the introduction? I want the introduction.
Oh, sorry. Intro. Sorry. This is my very good friend, Akash Raja.
All right,
Akash,
chaps.
how you doing, bro?
I'm good. A little bit nervous, but ready to go.
Hey,
better late than never, eh, Papa?
Hey, I ain't seen you in over a year, man. How
It's
you
a
been?
habit of a lifetime, isn't it?
I know, man. It's been a long while, isn't it, Papa? It's been
It's
ages.
been over a year, bro. It's been a long time, man.
Hopefully not much longer. Yeah.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
The never-ending lockdown.
that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, like towards the start, it was you're from Leicester, for anyone that's watching. But initially it was Leicester that went into lockdown again before we did again, right? The second time around, I think it was.
Yeah, man. It's yeah. What do you say? Sorry, Papa. Say that again. I'm looking at the
You're watching the chats. That's what you're doing.
I'm looking at the chats. This is my multitasking skills gone down.
That's it. Gone out the window.
Sorry. I'm going to do a quick introduction. So yes, for all listeners, I am from Leicester, like many of the guests that you guys have had.
Shout out to Leicester Massive.
And that's actually where I met the questionable Bav at didnt University. So we studied together. And yeah, just obviously known each other since. It's been 10 years, Papa, something like that.
More. What was it? When did you? I graduated in 2010, mate. So it must have been.
I've lost track of time.
I don't know when you graduated.
I've lost track of time.
2010, mate.
So yeah, it's been 12
trying
years.
to bury a few years and make himself younger.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not been that long. Only 10 years.
I'm burying the greys in my beard as well. Yeah.
You're not dying.
No, I'm just growing the black bits just to cover the greys. That's the trick of the trade. So yeah, it's been obviously like 12 years since I've known Bavish, and since finishing university, I now currently own my own clothing brand, which is Iconic Culture. So for all you people listening, feel free to check it out. The Instagram handle, I won't plug too much because I said this. I won't plug too much, but it's we_r_iconic. So yeah, feel free to check us out.
As you can probably see,
the reason
you can probably see the chevron on the tee already, Akash. Yeah, just for you, I thought I'll put it on today. Yeah, I thought you might.
I'm not even gonna lie. He first introduced your clothing line to me when we were in Mexico. He's like, "Yo, man, my boy's at this clothing line. He's got these tees."
Because I was wearing it everywhere. Right? I was wearing it.
He was rapping hard, bro.
Fair play, man. Fair play. No, respect for that. Respect.
To be fair, I pretty much got every single
he is my main customer, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie. And then obviously why I'm on this show, so we're expecting twins, my wife and I, which is obviously amazing news. So yeah, it's obviously.
So how long have you guys been married then?
It's coming on to 6. Well, no, sorry, we've been together for 6 years. Wow. We've been married for 3 years. Yeah. Just under 3 years. Yeah, but again, it just flew by, as you can imagine.
It does, isn't it?
But, yeah.
Like those first 2 years just go with a blink, and like all of a sudden, like I'm looking at 5 years this year, man. Where did that go?
Congratulations.
That time is flying. I remember Akash's wedding like it was yesterday. We had a good night. It was good, man. We had an international.
Do you remember it? Because I don't remember anything.
Honestly, we was out in Portugal, right? And it was amazing. Like weather was on point. Everyone made it there from uni. Like literally, it was such a good laugh.
If you got a good crowd, a destination wedding is a vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, it's hard planning it, obviously, because you're not there, and you don't get that face-to-face interaction with the wedding planner. But it's all worth it in the end, and it does obviously. Yeah, you do.
How did you find that whole stress and all of that amalgamation of pressure and?
It was.
What was it like?
It's intense because I'm that sort of person. Bavish might not agree, but I like to take control over whatever I'm doing, and I don't like to delegate. So even on the wedding day, I had like 50, 60 jobs to do. And everyone was like, why are you not passing the jobs around? You're getting married today. I was like, no, I need to ring the wedding planner. I need to do this. I need to make sure it's all set. So yeah, it was very stressful, and even stressful before obviously planning it all. But fortunately, I've got a calm wife, so she. It should be the other way around, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I know, man. You should be hoping her calm.
Yeah.
She should be stressing out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it was definitely all worth it. Poppy's, yours was really good though as well, man.
Four years next month, mate. 4 years.
Wow.
So time is flying. And then my sister's put in there that it's 10 years on her end. So
10 years.
She's been married for 10 years. Yeah. Don't get her talking about like wedding planning, because she had to do a lot of mine. And then she got the forefront of it.
She hasn't forgiven him yet.
Nah,
really?
Not yet. Not at all. I don't think she'll ever forget what she had to go through there, man.
Really?
Yeah,
it was all worth it though, right? Poppy. She enjoyed herself on the reception. I've not seen so many people on the dance floor.
It was a good laugh, to be fair. It was a good laugh.
I won't say too much, but I think we ran out of Jägermeister, didn't we?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't know how, but yeah, exactly.
Ran out a lot of things, huh?
That's probably the. But to be fair, actually, alcohol-wise, we got left over with substantial amount. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I don't even. We overbought. Like that's one thing I said from the start. If I'm gonna buy more alcohol, because I was like,
forget the venue, forget the location.
Let me tell you, I've been to wedding receptions where there is alcohol missing at the end of the night, and I'm like,
he's got his priority straight in it.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, because no people talk about it for the rest of their lives. They'll remember it. They don't remember anything else about that night. They'll say, oh yeah, I remember that wedding. And they'd run out of alcohol, and my sister's calling me Groomzilla.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's where the control aspect comes, when you just like, listen, like I can delegate, don't get me wrong, that's my middle name, but that was one thing. That was one thing where I was like, you know what, like I need it to be done this way.
I'm responsible for this, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, shall I come? Like, if you don't want to do it, I'll come down.
That's his one and only responsibility. Make sure there's enough booze and that everyone has got an alcoholic beverage in their hand.
Yeah, and you got to make sure everyone has a good time, right? That was
we did.
So, it was a good laugh, man. It was good, man. Mate, I can't believe all these weddings are like 3, 4, 5 years ago. I already said that.
You got to feel sorry for the people going through weddings now, man. They've got none of those vibes.
Oh, no, true.
30-man wedding, done, isn't it? What are they worried about?
You know what? There is one silver lining there, because obviously, like, when you're whittling down the numbers, it's such a pain. It's with an Indian wedding. It's you end up inviting. No,
but that's why you do international.
The person who cut your hair when you're one. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you know what? One thing I will say is that I've noticed in the way that people have had to cut down their numbers, change venues, locations, whatever it might be, even the amount of money that they're saving on catering, right? It's given them a budget to give to the photographer and the videographer, which is the bits that are going to be created that are going to last them a lifetime. So, for once, I think that the budget is going into the right area.
Are you plugging?
Yeah, a little bit. Because real talk though, isn't it? Like when you look back at your wedding, what do you look back at? Your memories, or do you watch your videos? Do you know what I mean? Your memories are only up here. Yeah. No one else can see that.
No.
So
100%. It's so weird you say that, Jay, because we were exactly the same. I think obviously photos and everything are amazing, but I think the best way to capture it is through video. That's that. There's things in our video that we wouldn't notice because we're so engrossed in what's going on.
Absolutely,
you don't notice what's going on, and you see people interacting that you would think they never see them speaking. Yeah, exactly. Basically, so it's definitely good.
You'd be surprised what we find walking the floor at weddings, mate.
Jay, have you thought about what you want to do when Jaden gets married? Is it like a UK wedding or is it abroad?
Wherever he wants to go, bruv. Wherever he wants to go.
You say Jaden, this is like 20, there's going to be like spaceships and stuff going right now. You don't know, could be the way that Elon Musk is going.
I want my wedding on the moon, bro.
Wedding on the moon, done. Oh, mate, it's got to be international, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
intergalactic, mate. That's
all that.
Who knows what life will be like right there, man? You might not even be able to mix like that.
Yeah. Please don't say that. Social distancing still going on.
No.
Mate,
don't you think like the best times have come and gone though?
What do you mean?
I mean, you know what? Now is a really good time for you guys. Really good time. I was actually speaking to a friend of mine about this because he's just had a baby girl, and he's got his own catering business, so he's super busy all the time. And
Sorry to
when
interrupt.
he was,
I just need to ask if I've seen that because I see a little grin on his face.
What, from Tom?
Top fan Tom, yeah.
Top fan Tom. He's like, first he's like, I need an invite to an Indian wedding. I was going to say, Jay, did you not invite him to your wedding? Did you not know each other at that point, right? And then the second one, because we're talking about going, always like, I need a flight and an invite. So I can get you the invite to like Jaden's wedding. Yeah, we'll put you on the guest list for that. Jay will cover the flight.
Mate,
he's never been to an Indian wedding, yeah?
You're missing. How has he not been to an Indian wedding from where he's from as well? He's
well, you're gonna have to ask him, man.
Tom, you need to get in touch with us and tell us how this has happened to you, mate. I thought you'd have been to quite a few by now.
Yeah, I'll bring you to an Indian wedding, mate. You can be my camera assistant.
I was going to say, he can hold the light for you. I've had that experience holding your lights, yeah? He can do that for you.
Oh, yeah. I've got it on video.
Job.
I've got Bob doing some work. It's painful to watch.
Painful job, man. So why are you making me hold the light here? What is this?
All right, so back to the topic at hand, and sorry for disturbing.
No, that's all good. I forgot my chain of thought. I don't even know what I was saying.
See, it's not just me. It happens, bro.
I
think you were saying something about
the best
of times.
It is in all honesty, it's to see a positive spin on what's going on. You guys have had obviously a lot of time with your little ones that you probably will never get after this lockdown ends.
Yeah,
so
I'll give that out.
There is definitely a silver lining to the pandemic. One silver lining, one very small silver lining. But
to me personally, that's a major one. Like, I'll be honest.
I think we should call it more the normalization of remote working, man.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, it could end up that way. Obviously, depending on what sector you're in, but it could potentially end up that way. I mean, are you guys going to be working from home moving forward? Well, Jay, you more than like you will.
Jay's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You lot have just come in and invaded my space, bro. Do you know what I mean?
He used to be like the one and only person that'd probably be working from home, right? You ring him, he's like, oh yeah, I'm working from home. And you'll be like, nah, you're just chatting shit, you're just chilling at home doing nothing, right?
You know what, yeah? Yeah, exactly. That's the perception. You're doing like, he's watching television, yeah. Like even my parents and my wife will come home, be like, you ain't done nothing today, bro. Like what? And you think, you know what? Yeah, just because you guys go out to an office to work, it doesn't mean that just because I'm here that I'm home to do
you're not working,
all of this, like, odd jobs around the house or run around to the station and back to pick X and Y up. Do you know what I mean? Like that's all distractions, bro. I used to do 2 shifts. Yeah, I'd do a shift from like 10 till about 4:30, and then one from 11 until about 3-4 in the morning, and that was because I could get those few hours done that was like just there and focused on one side of things, and then spend that time doing the taxi work and the running around and the family time. And then at 11 o'clock, I'd have to be like, right, I need to get back to it.
Well,
you know what? My wife,
she
very rarely watches. I know she very rarely watches, but look at that.
She's her timing, amazing.
I know.
Absolutely
she's never
amazing.
here for anything but that bit.
Literally, like I've not seen her name pop up in a few weeks, and she's just got you at the right time. So,
oh man, you are being stitched right up there, Jay.
Yeah,
it's just ironic that Netflix is on when she comes home from work. Oh, sorry, I'm working.
We don't even do that stuff, man. Like, do you know what it is? When you work on social media and then you're sitting there, you're looking at things and ads of different people, what they're doing, putting out, and she'll always walk in on that moment that I'm scrolling through something on Facebook, and then she's just like, "You're just sitting there on Facebook. Come and do this." Do you know what I mean?
You're getting ideas. You know what? To be fair, all jokes aside, me being from a marketing background, I see what you mean, and I actually get told the same thing when my missus sees me on Instagram.
Yes.
So what are you doing on Instagram or TikTok? I was like, this is me just seeing what's out there, content creation and all that. And she's like, yeah, all right then.
Mate.
Yeah.
Now she's baiting you out for the morning feeds as well. Like, what is going on out today? Is she out?
Yeah, you know why?
What have we done?
It's because Jaden's asleep for once. She's got a little bit of time to sit there and keyboard on the warrior on the keyboard even. But no, this week, for the last week, I haven't been really doing the morning feeds as I normally would, innit? And it's because obviously the weekend we had a wedding in Bolton, so we drove up the night before, did the day in Bolton. When I came back that night, I don't know what happened, but the next thing I knew, it was the next morning. Obviously, Tuesday was another early morning and long day shoot. And that one, I think I must have got home, had something to eat. The last thing I knew was 10 o'clock. And then the next thing I knew was 2:30, and I was on the sofa. So I was like, all right, I better go upstairs because I'm just too tired. So all I remember was her putting Jaden next to me in the morning, but waking up at 10 in the next morning. And then ever since, the rest of the week, I've had this, like, you don't even do the morning feeds no more, man. Like, doing the late night feed and then the early morning feed is difficult, you know? I was like, yeah, but I did the night feed. What are you on about?
I don't know how you balance all of that, honestly, and having a kid. It sounds that you don't have any sleep.
Coming.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy. I'm happy getting my 7-8 hours sleep at the moment, because after that, it's game over. There is no such thing as sleep. So.
Also, with Thomas's comment, I just want to state that he's our resident expert in excuse and communication.
What excuses have I pulled out? Tom just throwing me under the bus now. What have I done now? What is going on out here? Tom, we're gonna have to get you back on to clarify these things soon, man.
You guys are getting trolled. I'm just enjoying this as a bystander. I'm just like, yep, I'm happy. Brilliant.
I like seeing Bar sweat.
And
no one's even turned on him yet.
I'm just confused. I don't even know what's going on out here. But Akash, look, before we go on to how you're gonna handle twins at night,
just at night.
Well, he wants his sleep, right? And that's the main time he's going to be disturbed for him. Tell us a bit about how you guys found out, reaction, etc.
So obviously, we went for a first scan. It's been 3 weeks now. Obviously, just going in to check that baby's okay, baby's fine, and Nisha's okay, and everything, just at the standard protocol. And then obviously she had the scan, and we even joked about this. We said, imagine if we have twins, because obviously my financial situation, Nisha's financial situation, it wouldn't be the right time for us to have more than one. But I guess it's one of those things where you adapt, right? It's one of those things you have to adapt. So yeah, we joked about it, but never actually thought that this would be the case. And then obviously we get told by the lady, oh, she's Jamaican. I'm not Jamaican. I'm not just making this accent. But she's like, oh, you're having twins. I was like, you're joking. What? And our missus looks at me, and then he just gets super emotional. She starts crying, and I start crying, and she's like looking at me like we're both crying and laughing. It's just like so many mixed emotions. But we walked away, and I've never felt like over the moon like that before. That's like a feeling on another level, and I'm worried about how emotional I'm actually going to get on the main day. That's quite worrying. So, but it did take us both aback. But we're obviously ecstatic. Yeah. I mean, how were you guys when you first had the scan and you saw the baby?
To be honest, I'm trying to remember. Forgetting the feels, I'm trying to remember. It was such a long time ago, right? The first scan. It was overwhelming. Like, you were just like, you knew what you were going for. We didn't have the shock that you had, where one became two pretty much instantaneously, right? We were like, 5-1. Okay, I asked the question as soon as I actually got in, and they started the scan. I said, "How many babies are there?" Oh, I asked it.
I'm strong like this.
I had to.
How many babies are in there?
The reason I asked the question is twins are in Priya's family, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
So her dad's a twin. So obviously it skipped that generation. So the chances.
You know, I read into this skipping a generation thing, and it's only a myth, not factual.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
Is it a myth?
But what I will say is you're correct on like half of that statement, in the sense that the chances of you having twins is only there if on your wife's side of the family there are twins.
Yeah,
she's the carrier of the gene. So that brings us to Reshma's next question: is do they run in the family?
No.
On your wife's side?
No, but this is the thing. So they're non-identical twins. So it's something that's when a non-identical twins, it's not hereditary. Whereas if it's identical, which is actually what I was going to ask you, Bhavish, is Priya's dad an identical twin, or is it?
Yeah. Identical, yeah.
They're identical, yeah.
Yeah.
That is hereditary. I don't know about the whole. I don't think it's all about skipping generation, but Jay, you're right as well. It does fall on the mom side if it's identical twins. So that's why it was super emotional as well, because obviously we could see two separate sacks, which was amazing. Yeah, I'm speechless now thinking about it, because obviously, yeah, it was a massive shock, but a good shock at that.
And Tom's asked, have you found out the sex of the twins, or are we too early for that?
Too early, yeah. So
early,
yeah, it's going to be in 18th of May, so not long, not long. But I don't want to surprise. You know, we actually planned that it would be like we do a surprise and all this stuff. But after finding out we got twins, I think that we've had enough surprises. I think I'm all out of surprises now. So.
I
was actually going to ask that next, like whether you wanted to keep that a secret or whether you were going to find out or not. So, no, that makes absolute sense. Like for us, it was one of those questions: do we want to find out? Do we not? For me, at first, I was like, yeah, I do, because I'd rather want to plan and like have the right things in place and things like that. But then, obviously, the reason why we didn't is because I wasn't able to be present at the scans. So it was something that we both wanted to find out together. Do you know what I mean? And that was our main reasoning for not finding out the sex of the baby during the pregnancy.
Okay. I mean, it would be amazing on the actual day, finding out what gender you've got. Obviously, that must be an amazing feeling in itself.
Yeah.
Poppy, you found that, didn't you, Kaylin? Oh, you didn't as well, yeah?
No, we didn't even think of names, let alone finding out the sex of the baby.
they thought of names for 3 months after he was born.
I was going to say, I was pestering him. I was actually like, have you come up with a name? What are you calling him all this time, man? Like, he's gonna be like
baby.
One. Yeah, baby.
Baby, here you go. He got his name in the end. I hope he likes it.
I do like Kaylin. Kaylin's a nice name, though.
We'll find out when he grows up and he's like, why'd you call me Kaylin? But
no, that's a challenge in itself, isn't it, guys? Coming up with a name that's contemporary but then still holds the Hindu heritage.
So have you guys actually looked at names, like, at all, or have you ever thought about names in the past?
We have thought about names. Whether they sound Hindu is another story.
Your sister's on one tonight, Bob.
No, she's fully. Actually, I actually don't know which one of them. See, this is what happens, right? Because they
I personally think you need to stitch them up. You need to bring them on right now. Honestly, I think you need to air it out.
I think this
what
might
did
be
you do to upset her?
No, it's Sanj. I'm telling you, this is Sanj.
It's the wedding planning. It's the wedding planning.
If it's her, then it's probably that. And if it's Sanj, oh no, and it's actually no. See, I don't know, but I don't even know. See, I can't even tell who it is anymore. It's just gone past that now. 22 weeks later, I actually can't figure it out. They comment every week, and I don't even know who it is now.
Normally, it's your brother-in-law, though, isn't it?
Yeah, normally he's on it, and he's just out to do it. Just you've seen him on my.
You know what makes me think that it's not your brother-in-law? The fact that it was very quick, and she's just relayed that, you know, they didn't say a name because they didn't know what they were having. Yeah. My question is slightly different, though. Have you thought of names before this? But yeah, so have you?
We did, but we couldn't come to a decision. What the names that my missus suggested, wasn't a fan of, and then.
We all did the same. Don't get me wrong. Like me and Rashma, we just thought, instead of like being like, "Oh, I like this name," and being strong on it, I just said to her, "Look, make a note on your phone. Whatever names we find, we'll just put in a list. When it comes down to it, we're always going to look at Arasi and things like that to determine what should be there and whatnot. So at the end of the day, we can look and filter through, and if we've got anything on that list, great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But it could change on the day. It could change on the day. You know, you could be stuck on a name. Even though they say sometimes it's good to see the baby's face and then make a decision, but I don't believe that, because the baby's face changes so much. You know what I mean?
So much, man. But the thing is, I did exactly what you said. I felt that as well. It's like, how can you name something you ain't seen yet?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. Honestly, that's one of the things, but one of the reasons why we didn't have a name. It's because we were like,
oh, he's justifying it. Have you seen that, Jay? He's actually justifying why he didn't.
it might be shortlist some names, right? Or people that actually know the gender, right? They give their baby the name. Baby's born. Baby don't look anything like that name, and you could tell sometimes if you call someone that name, you're like, are you really? You don't really look like that. No, it doesn't go. Oh, sorry,
But
try again.
it's all subjective, though, isn't it? I guess because you might not think they look like that. No, but no, it is subjective though.
Yeah,
you might not think that. And it's like, other people obviously would. It's all down to the person, isn't it? I guess.
It's like you look more like a Millen than a Bovish.
Are you talking to me?
I would have said Jignesh, but Millen works.
You lot are on one today, innit? All right.
I'm just doing demonstrations for Tom's sake.
No. Don't worry, innit? It's okay. It's all okay. Don't worry, boys.
You got off lightly. Bavish is a strong traditional Indian name.
There's a reason why you like my name as well, innit? We won't tell everyone that reason, but there's a reason you like my name, isn't it?
I don't know what you're on about.
Is he watching today? Your sidekick?
No, he actually spells his name the right way. It's Bavesh.
No,
you spell it with an I. That's wrong. I've never heard that.
I'm the only person I've met like that. So you are unique.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's a good thing. I'm not a commoner. All right, Akash.
I've got a question for you guys. This is based on having a conversation with my mate who's Jay Choxy, right?
Yeah.
Poppies, yeah. So he's got a baby girl, and we just had a conversation recently, and it's like the experience he had in terms of the first day when he took little Maeva home. It must be. I know you obviously have NCT classes. You get kind of.
You're talking about all these things that we've never been to, bro.
Oh, you've not been to NCT classes?
Well, I went to like 2 before they went on Zoom, and then that was it, really.
All right, okay.
And I just
are you getting to go to these classes? Is it something that's
Yeah, you can now.
We've actually opened out a lot of things back.
Fortunately, yeah. What was it like going on Zoom, Poppies, and doing it over Zoom?
For us, it was okay in the sense that we've had 2 or 3 in person, so we kind of got to know the people we were around, and going through the same things. So you kind of built that kind of. Even when we were in person, you had to keep your distance. Everyone was kind of far apart from each other. You weren't allowed to really shake hands or don't even think, or they had no props or anything like that. So it wasn't that kind of. It wasn't the best, but you kind of got to know a few people, and then once they got onto Zoom, you were like, okay, you know who these people are, so you can still have that kind of open conversation. But of course, you want it to be in person. What are you both staring at? Because I can see you both staring at
this is exactly how I was when you were asking me something about Leicester. And I was
still trying to focus and try and do it. It wasn't happening.
No, I could tell the concentration in your face. There was like a bit of Bushino coming down.
I can see.
There was a bit of Bushino coming down. I can just see it.
Please, what
does Poppet mean?
What does what mean? Sorry?
Your surname.
It means parrot. Where have you been? Like, how do you not know this right?
I'm done after that.
I'm not even asking for myself.
How do you not know this?
Read what Tom's just wrote.
Is it because he's a delicate flower? Is he okay?
Are you okay?
Oh my God, what is going on?
He is actually a delicate flower. He's more like a daisy than a poppy.
Mate. But
what I was going to ask you, sorry, we're going off piece, but what I was going to ask you guys is, what was it like the first day you brought the little one back? Because obviously, we've all had a Tamagotchi when we were younger. It's nothing like that. You actually have to...
If you're trying to compare your baby to a Tamagotchi, good luck, man.
What was it like for you when you brought Kaylin back, Bath? Because I don't think we've ever discussed that story.
So, literally, obviously, I wasn't even allowed to go inside to get him. I had to wait outside by the doors, and then midwife comes out, nurse comes out. Here's your child, take him home. And then you have to.
Where's your wife?
She was like, I'm not gonna make. She's giving birth. I'm not like making her carry him down the stairs and out the hospital. Right? It's a long enough journey as it is. So initially, like, and they just had. There's no kind of before, and I think I've heard this from a couple of people. They used to come to the car and help you put them into this like car seat just to make sure you've done it all correctly, and they'll, here you go, see you later, out you go. So you get to this car, and luckily the weather wasn't too bad, so it was like. It's not freezing cold out there, but you still got to wrap him up. And you just stare as you're walking along. You're kind of just trying to stare at him, like actually, our child, like, what is going on out here? Put him in the car seat. But he's in the car seat, and then you put him into the car, and you have to make sure that's done properly. You're checking that 10 times over. You're like, okay, is this correct? Is this right?
Did you drive home really, really slowly?
And then the driving changes, right? Like, literally, I've never driven that slow in my life.
10 and 2, yeah?
Honestly, forget no one hand, nothing. Honestly, 2 hands on the steering wheel like that, have to do it. And then Priya tried to get into the front of the car, like, and the passenger seat, and I was like, "Where are you going? Like, you can't sit here today. Like, you have to go to the back.
Shotgun no more.
You can't have that anymore. You have to go to the back now." But that's the kind of thing you were like, "What is going on?" Like, you, and then when you get home, and that's when you're like, "Okay, now he's home. Now you can sit." But even then, holding him was like a.
You were nervous, right?
Yeah,
you obviously
because
you think they're so delicate. Do you know what I mean?
Really.
So recently, my sister had a baby boy, and like the way I've not had much experience around babies before this, so I have to obviously get used to it because I'm now an uncle. So
you feel more socially awkward, innit?
Oh, definitely. I was like, how do you even hold this? Like, you just like, what am I doing? Is there a manual that goes with this? There's literally not. And I was going to actually ask you guys, did you get a manual from the hospital before you left? Like, here you go. This is what you do step by step.
Nothing.
No, but all jokes aside, you literally just have to go in for it. Yeah, I was just going to say, you got to go in for it. I've just noticed Tom's question about feeling the pressure. Yes and no is the answer. Interesting question, actually, because I'm going to go back 1 year, just over a year. So a friend of mine, he's got 2 kids at that stage. And I was just talking to him about, I'm ready to have kids, but I'm not because of the financial aspect. We all like to think that we can buy our kids everything. It's not about spoiling them, because that's one thing I would never do. But all jokes aside, because I've got a feeling Babish is going to say something here. I can just see it in his face. Daddy's little princess. No, but honestly, all jokes. Before he interjects.
Basically, that was his nickname. Basically,
my dad has actually done a lot for me, so I feel that pressure to do a lot for my children. And I had this conversation with him when we were at this wedding, and he said, "You know what, Akash? At that stage, when they're at that age, they don't know what money is. They don't know what this is. They only know one thing: that's love, affection, and time. You give them that, you're doing your job properly." And I built up that pressure in my head. God, my phone's going off. Sorry. I built up that pressure in my head based on how I've been brought up. So yeah, I do feel the pressure. But one reason why I don't feel the pressure, on the flip side to that, is because I have a lot of support. I've got a strong network around me. I'm close to my family. I'm very family oriented. And likewise, my partner Nisha, so is she. So we're going to do everything we can for these two when they do come. So yeah, that does obviously ease that pressure. But yeah, I'm going to feel the pressure inevitably, because there's going to be twice the amount of nappies are going to change, twice the amount of time I'm going to invest.
Raise next is that a lot of the thing that's going to really take it out of you is the lack of rest and sleep, and especially because there's 2, right? We've complained enough having one child to run after, and how both like our partners and ourselves are just absolutely knackered. But going in there with, you know, two to handle is going to be twice the pressure. Obviously, they're both learning similar things, different times, or, you know, the nappy changes and everything. It definitely is twice the amount of reward.
I was just, you know, someone said that to me, you know, because first time I told some of my friends, not that they weren't supportive, but they were like, "Oh my God, it's going to be stressful." And obviously, then I feel that because it takes away some of that amazing feeling. Yeah, exactly. And my sister-in-law actually said it's twice the reward that you can be getting, and that was the first person on that day, I think, said something like that, and it kind of just brought that feeling back. So obviously that was nice to hear.
Did you find that people are very few people were optimistic? Like, although they were happy for you when you told them the news, they come out with all the horror stories, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we did tell people to just avoid that just for a couple of days.
So like one thing I was going to say is, obviously, Bob said about what happened when he brought Kaden home, but I want to kind of tell you and run you through, like, so when Jaden came home, obviously Reshma was absolutely exhausted. She'd been in hospital with him for 3 days. So she was like, look, whatever happens, I just need you to know, I need to know that you can change the nappy and feed him, and then I'm going to bed. And so she'd literally left me in the lurch. My mum and dad had gone to bed. She'd gone to bed. And all of a sudden there's me with little Jaden, not knowing whether what I was doing was right, if he was breathing okay. Like, you're looking over, he's sleeping, and then you're just thinking, is he breathing and stuff like that. You know, those first 24 hours when they first come home and all of those emotions that you go through, then you feel that pressure, like you say, there's certain things you think about, and, you know, you sit there as someone knowing the position that you're currently in, knowing what you've now got to fulfill or what you've got to look to achieve, and like all of a sudden you get all this rush of like thoughts, emotion, and things like that. It can be overwhelming. Do you know what I mean? It's not an easy time, especially like bringing them at home. That first 24 hours for you is that time where your wife's had that time with them in the hospital. Do you know what I mean? Like, where they've had that time to bond with them and have them on their own. When you get that first night on your jacks, that's your time. That's you. Do you know what I mean? So that gives you that opportunity to then actually get in without anyone being in the way, have that bond, be as close. Like, I've got to say, I was really lucky. Like, after Jaden was born and while they were finishing with Reshma in theatre, I was taken to like the recovery room with Jaden, and then I had like 10 to 15 with him by myself. Do you know what I mean? So he was like, with me, I feel like I've continued that bond. I've always been quite hands-on with him, and I don't see any other way of doing that. Do you know what I mean? But
this is the age where they soak it like a sponge.
Yeah. And one thing that I noticed, like, if you think back to when you were a kid, right, there was like the mum who was always around, and, you know, you're okay with her, and then you get dad who comes home at certain times, so you're always looking out the window, what time's dad coming? Where's dad? And then he comes home, like, as a kid, you're just so excited because there's someone new to play with, right? We don't get that because we've been around. Do you know what I mean? So with me, like, it's when he looks at my dad, and like, my dad's the one that's the fun and play guy, right? So every time my dad will walk into a room, he'll look up and he lights up, like he knows that something exciting is about to happen. But it's like those differences that it makes in that kid's life. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm actually saying it's a powerful thing, in the sense that before, it would have been one half or one partner in the relationship that has that bond and trust with the child, right? And we've been so fortunate to be able to establish that between both of us as parents.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. Wow. What would you say, obviously, in the short time that you guys have been in fatherhood, what would you say is like the biggest challenge you faced
so far?
A dirty nappy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Really?
Do you know what? At first, you don't mind doing them, and you try and get involved. And the bigger they get, and as soon as they start eating solids, and things just start changing, man. The other day, like, she was like, "Listen, bro, you've missed that so many times now that I'm just gonna sit here and watch you. Like, I'll hold his legs." And literally, I opened the nappy, and I was gagging.
Have you got any horror stories? I bet you got some horror stories.
You know, yesterday I thought he was doing it again, right? And I thought, like, oh, he's farting away. And then I felt like some movement. I thought, you know, he's dropped his guts. And again, she was like, 2 days now, you ain't changed a dirty nappy, like, so it's your turn. So we've got him on the bed, like unwrapped him and that, and I've peeled back the nappy.
Unwrapped him.
Bro, there was nothing there. It's just a wet nappy. I swear to God, I pissed myself laughing. It was brilliant. She's just sitting there screaming like, "You've bloody done it again." Do you know what I mean? You've got away with it.
You dodged it.
Yeah, dodged the bullet hard.
That's a bit like Bavish's introductions. He keeps dodging them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Procrastinating there, eh?
You got to wait for the right moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think next week I might have some technical difficulties, bruv.
But you better hope I'm on early then, isn't it?
If you guys could do anything differently, what would it be? If there's anything, or if there is anything to change.
I think it would be like the process of during pregnancy being able to go to the scans and things, which again, you know, is back open and you've been fortunate enough to experience. Like, imagine being in a position where you must have thought about it in the past, like, you know, like when, you know, when you're expecting, you're going to go to a baby scan and it's an experience you're going to go through,
yeah.
right? Now imagine having that taken away from you without any consultation. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, all right, well, I've been robbed of that.
I mean, Poppies, you went for a private scan, didn't you?
No, so we were lucky. We got 2 scans on the NHS, which I was allowed into.
Oh, you got in? Okay.
Yeah, so I got into 2, but they gave us a 12-week, 20-week, which I was allowed in. Then we did a private one just when lockdown was beginning. So we managed to get that just before everything kind of got locked off and shut down. And then we were fortunate enough to get a 36-week scan, which isn't normally the case anymore. But I wasn't allowed to go to that. But I was quite lucky in most, you know, we got parts of it which we were okay to go into. But in terms of changing anything, I'll be honest, I don't think there's anything that I'll look back in the last 11 months and say that I would have changed anything that, you know, I think there's...
Anything drastic or anything?
No, I think we've done everything. Probably the only thing would have been... No, not even like, you know, maybe put him in his room a bit earlier, but not even really, because I enjoy looking up and looking around and he's there. Like, you know, you enjoy that kind of bit, you know. People
doesn't enjoy running down the stairs when Kaylin wakes up crying, basically.
I know, but I don't mind. Like, but when he's in his own room, he sleeps longer because he's not getting disturbed by us. But you know, when people will say to you, "Oh, you know, you should, you know, you get them to sleep in their own room very early." There's a time you should, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's not even for you; it's actually for them as well. Because if they're in the same room, you're disturbing them. No matter whether you think it happened or not, you're disturbing them because they can hear you walking in and out of that room. So yes, they need to have their own room, etc. Yeah, it will help you guys sleep a few more hours. But enjoy the time you have, because you will both have one baby each throughout the day, throughout the night. Like, literally, that's how it's going to be, right? For the first couple of weeks, you're both going to have one each. You might at one point.
I guess the question that we need to ask is: do you live in a family home, or do you live, you and your missus, in your own place?
So no, so we basically we moved out 2 weeks ago. So
oh really?
Yeah, I've been doing up with DIY. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a crazy last month, I would say. But the house is getting there. We want to make sure, obviously, it's in a good place before they do get here, because in all honesty, DIY work or any housework is going to go out the window when they are here. But yeah, I've not mentioned this, but we've actually got another plan in place, because obviously me owning a business and doing bookkeeping, a lot of my time is involved in work. But with that in mind, I have said that there will be time with the babies, because I never want to neglect that. But I
think one thing you'll find is that without wanting it to and without planning for it, your priorities change very drastically, and your eagerness to devote time to work in comparison to spending it with the kids, that will hit you completely unexpectedly. Yeah.
You've got to manage your time in a certain way. That's how it's going to be. You just have to adapt. But we've actually got a contingency in place that we've said it'll be my parents and Nisha's parents 1 day a week that they'll stay. That's the plan that we've got. I mean, that's only when it gets really hard to manage.
The
in
thing
the
is,
first
like,
year.
Barv and I, we both live with our parents, right? And in the family home, the dynamic is great in the sense that in those initial weeks, we've got that added support and additional,
Yeah,
and it gives you at least an hour just to relax or like unwind a little bit. Do you know what I mean? For your wife, it's going to be a different thing because her being able to switch off from the both of them is completely different. Do you know what I mean? But the fact of it is you're going to need that support, and to have people close by is going to be an absolute godsend. Like that's the one thing in
definitely.
your position that I would want an abundance of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before we moved into this house, we didn't know we were having twins, so that was never the plan, that we would get our independence and then we'd have our parents move in with us. So we just,
Completely. No,
but
I get that.
it's just the way it's happened, and obviously we just found that's the best solution for it. But we're going to try and manage ourselves because that's the ideal option, and obviously it'd be good for me to have that bonding time with our babies. But equally, I think, logistically, I think it's going to look like we're going to need that added support. I think, yeah, for a
Listen,
fact.
it's never a bad thing at the end of the day.
No,
Even
never be
if they're
scared to
there
ask help.
doing, yeah, and even if they're just there doing X, Y, and Z, you know, it still means that you're in the house doing what you need to do. You're still able to spend time with the kids and stuff. Obviously, look, you have your own business. Yes, you have a job on a day to day. Are you looking to just take the 2 weeks paternity from both, or are you looking to kind of let the business run itself for a little while you can?
That's the plan. So it'll be 2 weeks paternity, and then see how it goes. Because, in all honesty, the pandemic's hit the retail sector, as you could imagine. So that side of my business is actually quieting down a lot in comparison to last year and the year before. So my main priority is focusing on my actual job and currently it's already just running on the side anyway. So more than likely that'll be the case when the babies are here. But if retail does pick up, hopefully, fingers crossed it does, then obviously I need to really invest more time into it, because at the end of the day, that's bringing in money. So I can't neglect the business as well, because that's in effect going to have an impact on the family life as well.
And it's difficult because it's something that's you've instigated. It's like if you don't do the work or if you don't push the buttons, then no one else is going to push them for you. Right?
Exactly. And it goes back to what I said about the whole wedding and how I like to do everything myself. I don't like to delegate. So I can't expect someone else to pick up the work for me. I've got to just get engrossed into it and do it myself. So that's definitely the plan. But there's so much ambiguity at the moment, isn't there, with the pandemic? We just don't know how it's going to pan out. But there's different plans in place. So hopefully one of them works. We'll see.
Just get the baby range started. You'll be all right.
Get the what? Sorry.
Baby range.
You said get the baby range started
on the iconic clothing.
It's a work in progress. I've sent you some baby girls, haven't I, Papa?
I know. I'm waiting for him to be able to fit into them.
Jay, I'll sort you out with some as well. I'll send you some stuff.
Definitely. Get some nice shots of them as well.
Yeah, good shout, man. I mean, the baby market is huge.
It's huge, massive, bro. As much as I look into it, there's like so many things that comes to mind, and you're like, we could easily get into this. Like Ella's Kitchen, for one. Like, there's Ella's Kitchen that I saw in Tesco the other day, and then there's a new one called Piccolo or something like that. And I'm pretty sure they're all white labeled from the same factory out in EU. Do you know what I mean?
Ella's Kitchen, I thought it was vegan. Is it not? Or have I got that wrong?
Ella's Kitchen, as in baby food, yeah. I don't think it's vegan.
So she doesn't do vegan food as well. Oh, okay.
You should tell us if she does.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I'm
Mr. Vegan out here.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
I am, yeah.
Really? Okay, that's a conversation, mate. When did that start? And why?
So I saw Cowspiracy, all those programs, a documentary. It all stemmed from actually because I've been
what? Yeah. I spoke to Vish yesterday and I was like, guess who I got coming on the show? And then he said to me, whatever you do, mention this to him, but then don't tell him that I told you. And I think you already
great. Mention this to him. Don't say I told you, but I'm going to tell you who told you. who
I
told
know,
me?
mate.
What did
You're
he
funny
say? Go
though.
on, let's hear it.
He
Let's hear
just
it.
said one word.
Seaspiracy.
Yeah.
Oh man, honestly, I ranted on Facebook. I don't say anything on Facebook, but I went off on one after I saw that one.
Really?
Yeah. It was The end scene is. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it.
We're halfway through it.
You are. Wait till you watch the end. Honestly, it's pretty
I don't
messed
eat
up.
seafood, and
Yes, neither do I. So
not phase me one bit. But yeah, tell
Do you,
us about this whole vegan life, innit? Tell us, please. I want to hear
so
the
okay,
story
so
again.
I've been vegan for coming up to 3 years, 3.5 years. It was actually shortly after I got married. So my mom was watching a WhatsApp video, credible source. You know how it is. It got these WhatsApp groups. So she's watching this WhatsApp video, and she starts welling up, and I'm like, well, it can't be that bad. And then I saw it, and it just like stuck in my head. But because it was a WhatsApp video, I don't know. Obviously, you don't know where the source is, you know where it's from, so you can't trust it. So I did my own due diligence. I went on to all these websites. I saw these documentaries that were coming out. It's just ironic. Everything was coming out surrounding veganism around that time. I think it was Dispatches or something like that on BBC. That was a pretty mortifying program. Like there was a woman that actually ate meat, and she was thinking about converting because of the environmental impact, as well as obviously like what's actually in your food, sort of thing. And then all those things just added up. And Bhavish knows this. I used to eat paneer like it was going out of fashion. Now I think the stock prices of paneer fell when I became vegan. So I was having it like 4 times a week. So for me to turn vegan, that is, you can just imagine the stuff that I've seen.
So were you more vegetarian prior to going vegan, or were you eating meat still?
No.
Or did you eat meat?
I've always been vegetarian.
Okay.
I had eggs, but that's about it. And I tried to even stop having eggs.
What about Nisha?
She eats meat like it's going out of fashion. So I'm hoping
that's a really interesting dynamic.
I'm hoping my sister-in-law is not watching it, because she said she is, but she might watch it on replay. But when I open their fridge, it's like a.
I know what you're going to say.
I feel like I'm David Attenborough, and I'm going to start narrating. Seriously. But no, but they're really like welcoming about the fact that I'm vegan. I mean, they're not going to shun me out or anything like that, but they do accommodate, obviously.
Question for you.
Are they going to be vegans?
Yep.
Go on.
They're going to be vegetarian.
Yep.
To meet in the middle. I don't want to make them dairy intolerant, because it's out of your control when they go to parties and stuff like that. And if they eat anything with dairy in there, I don't want to know that they're getting a rash or anything happens to them. But they will be vegetarian up until a certain age. Nisha goes, okay, fine.
Yeah,
if
this
they
is
want
what I really want to get to the nitty-gritty on.
If they want to have chicken at 9, what are you going to do? I goes, yeah, that's fine. But I'm going to take them to the slaughterhouse before. They need to see where it's coming from. They want to see what. I know this is a bit blunt, but they're going to see what's actually happening, because I think that's a massive problem right now. I think ignorance is bliss, and it comes from my wife as well. I don't want to say anything bad or anything. She's still got a heart, but she doesn't want to watch these programs that I watch. She doesn't want to do this research I want to do, because she knows she probably would more than likely change, and she'll become vegetarian, or if not vegan. So I don't think it's fair on them to not know what they're eating, because it looks good, fair enough, it smells good, but do you know what's actually in there? Do you know the process behind it? And I think they need to be educated on that side of it before they do.
Because for me, we had the same conversation. Obviously, Reshma's vegetarian and I eat meat. And the conversation was like, okay, so as a child, they'll be vegetarian. We'll bring him off vegetarian. But what about when we're eating meat and then all of a sudden he's like, why can't I eat that? Or I want some, daddy. Like, and I've got to turn around and be like, you can't have it. And he's going to be like, why? I'll be like, because your mum said so. Like, it's not going to fly, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Because your mum said so. It's not going to be. Ask her, pointing at just like.
But also the fact, like the flip side of the coin, like, as we grew up, there must be someone in your family that you knew was brought up as a vegetarian that went behind their parents' back and had a burger, right?
That's Akash, by the way, right there. I don't even bring that up.
Like, I'm just going to brush that under and move past.
Let's skip that bit.
But the fact of the matter is, like, either they do it behind our back without us knowing, or they're going to question us on our integrity of why they can't have it. And
I mean, that's the thing, Jay. Like, I don't want them going behind my back and eating meat. It's never going to be a case where once they are educated on it and they know what's behind the whole dairy industry, they know what's behind the whole meat industry, everything, and they still want to eat it, then I'm all for it. I get that. That's fine. But just understand where it's coming from. And also the environmental impact. To be honest, veganism is actually on my side because I'm part of a vegan group. And I'm just waiting for Bavish to just come out with something.
No, please continue.
A very big vegan group. And there's so many youngsters that are in there that are under the age of like 16, 17, about 18, 19. And they're all...
Are you sure you're meant to be saying this out in public? I hear that.
No, but they're youngsters that are well educated. Obviously, they come up on.
They've read into it and they've made their own minds up.
And it's like, I would never imagine myself cutting out dairy at that age. But they obviously understand. They're well switched on, and times are changing. And I think they're adapting to it, and they understand what it's going to do to their kids if we don't make that change, because it does have that massive impact on the environment. And you'll see that for yourself in Seaspiracy and Cowspiracy if you do watch it. Plug.
Not even going there, bro.
The thing is, I don't know what show you can put in front of me that could put me off eating food. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not something.
But have you seen like Cowspiracy? Have you seen those things?
No, so I saw like Game Changers and those kind
Game Changers is different. Game Changers is about the health benefits it has to people, because they were showing athletes, they're doing trial tests on athletes and showing how much it actually enhances their performance as opposed to the opposite direction, because that's what everyone thinks. They put this in their head because of the media portraying that you eat meat, you're a man, but in fact it's not the case.
But then I also think everything in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly,
Like,
but that's not the way. That's not the way the world's working, is it? We want
4 times a week at Paneer is not moderate, bro.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? And that's when he had like quadruple chins going on as well.
That's borderline dairy. Like,
why do you think I had this? I had to grow it
just to hide.
It's sagging skin up there.
That was the worst. Like he was addicted
like a
to
peacock.
that stuff. Right, but how often do you eat meat or have dairy, etc., in your food? If you all have it all moderate, I think there's a way of having this stuff without affecting you.
Disrupting the ecosystem, it's just because we've got addictive personalities, and a lot of these people want to eat it 3-4 times a day, whereas it's not how it's meant to be eaten. That makes sense, but that's the way the world works. But hopefully it does change. I'm not going to talk too much about veganism because
I was going to say,
I don't want to be those
subject in itself. No, it's fine, man. So there is somewhere else that I want to take this to, and obviously there's something that you mentioned earlier in the show, in the sense of where you are at in terms of your financial obligations and commitments, and obviously twins is going to be no cheap feat, right? Have you, Anisha, talked about or thought about like the future in terms of what you're going to put away so that rainy day money or savings for the future for the both of them?
Fortunately for me, a really good trait of my wife is she's very good at saving. She's a Patel. She's very good at saving. They are, man. Honestly, they're very
saving.
Yeah, I think she should have been an accountant in her past life. I think she was an accountant in her past life, but no, she's very switched on when it comes to money, and she's really careful and thinks about that. She's very forward thinking. She kind of manages some of my funds. I'm not gonna lie. But the other ways that we're going to kind of overcome that challenge, because that is going to be a challenge, the cost factor.
Yep.
Is the fact that a lot of my cousins just recently had babies as well, so they're 1, maybe 2 years ahead of us. So we are going to be taking their stuff.
Yeah. Oh, bro, trust me, I've got all of my brother-in-law's kids' clothes, and like, it has made an absolute world of difference. What I will say, is the one bit of advice that I can give you. When Jaden was born, just before he was born, I had a little sit. I was thinking one night, and you start thinking one thing, you get to another, right? But the fact was, I started thinking to myself, if there's a nominal amount that I can put away each month, that my partner can do the same, that we can build up a fund and we can hit a significant number, what would it be? And if we was to say pre-lockdown, we might go out on a weekend, 2-3 weekends out of 4 in the month, and overall you probably would have spent like 150 quid, right? So if you think £125 a month that you put away, £125 that your missus puts away, over a year, that £250 a month equates to £3,000. Over 10 years, that's 30k. Split between the 2 kids, that's 15k. So by the time they're 10 years old, you've got a pot of 30k to split between the 2 that you can use on their activities, clothing, school trips, whatever it might be. But you've got that stack sitting there, innit?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
then between the ages of them being 10 to 20, if you continue that, you've still got another 30k being there ready for or 15k split for like uni times or like that era of their life.
Yeah.
And that's not including like the birthday money, the gift money, the birth money, and all of that kind of
stuff.
That's
all added, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that would be the biggest tip that I could give you, that without a shadow of a doubt, like my wife will be the first one to curse me out in the comment section saying that I'm really bad with my money, right? The one thing she will say is that she's even more surprised that every month for the last 6 months she's seen that £125 go away. Do you know what I mean?
So it's wrong if I put that £125 into cryptocurrency, I'm assuming.
Not necessarily.
No, yeah. No, but I hear you.
The way it's going at the moment, it might not necessarily be a bad thing just for the next couple of months.
Well, that's what I'm actually looking into. After finding out about twins, I'm like, new revenue streams. I'm like cryptocurrency, stocks, shares, all that stuff. So, but no, definitely, I think it's definitely a good piece of advice to keep at least a little bit aside for those occasions. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely, those are the small things. And you know what? This might sound so stupid, and it'd be like, what are you talking about? But even like, well, we went crazy like recently for Christmas. Like, I went out and bought like 3-4 different toys for him. And I was like, what? I came back, gave him all these toys.
He didn't play with any.
I tell you, he wanted to play with the boxes of the toys rather than the actual toys. I'm like, I should have just given the boy a box, cuddle box, more than happy. Like, play with it. Literally, he'll play with, honestly, he will stand on it or he will do something with, he's more interactive with that than the actual toy. Okay, now he's getting a bit older, so he's understanding what these toys are. But I didn't need to give him those toys initially. Like, he wasn't too bothered by it. And then other people come around and give toys, etc. I'm just like, you don't need to do it. There's so many things that you look at and you're like, well, we spend that money, but actually, do we really need to spend it? Not necessary. And now I'm trying to look at it to say, look, I'm not going to say no if he wants something when he's older. But actually, at the age he is now, I don't need to buy him everything. I get addicted. I look on like Instagram, Facebook, and all these ads come up, right? From JD Sports, Foot Locker, all these trainers, right? And then Jay's sitting there sending me baby Air Maxes and all this going on, right?
Look, bro, I don't care who you are, but you've got to get within the first 6 months. They've got to at least have a pair of kicks, and
they've got to have some drip. They've got to have some drip.
Do you know what I mean?
I know, but I don't mind that. But
like, we sent him to his first sensory class last week, and he was wearing his whole Puma outfit. Or no, sorry, he went in his Nike outfit and his Air Maxes, and he got attention, bro. Do you know what I mean? No, everyone was like, "You are so cute, bro."
Yeah, but those are the things we want to do. We want to spend the money, of course, right? Okay, maybe we weren't in a position where our kids were going anywhere for the first 6 months, right? Then you go to any classes, nothing. So actually, it's a good thing, but we probably wanted to buy them anyway. But you end up spending, £100, £200 outfits.
Yeah, that you don't need to.
Do I really need to spend that for a week or two? And I've been so close to wanting to buy it. I've said, look, once he is able to stand, walk, and actually saying that he's very close in the next coming weeks to walking properly, and but then and his growth isn't as quick as it is, where his feet aren't growing. You can spend a little bit more, but those are the things. Just look out for him. He doesn't like wearing just true.
I was just gonna say, your boy don't even like wearing socks, bro.
Nah, if you know what he does now? So he got these nice little Adidas crepes, really nice ones, right? Pure white. Put them on him, sitting in his pram, and he's trying to eat his foot, and he's trying to eat the trainer. I'm like, these trainers are not to be eaten, Mo. What are you doing out here? But yeah, he don't like trainers. He don't like wearing shoes. Nothing. He's just like, let me be free.
Bro, when they brought him over to us, he was leaving the house, and as they're trying to put him into his chair, my man's like taking his shoes off like 3 times, pulled his socks out, and that was just on his exit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, like, kid is now pretty much walking, I would say. Like,
that's amazing, man.
Like good 10, 12 steps now, walks around little circles and this and that now. So he's but that's when you think, all right, now the clothes look good on them, but they can actually stand as well. Do you know what I mean? No,
do the catwalk, yeah.
But once they're standing and you've got nice jacket on them, nice jeans, nice trade, then you look and be like, all right, now you're a little stylish little kid, and it is good. When they're just not even crawling, and then you're like, okay, the clothes look good on you, but actually, you want to get proper pictures, and you want to see the memories later on. You get the full outfit when he's standing up properly. Those are the ones you look forward to.
I think that's another thing I'd say actually as well, man. Like, one thing you should do, I'm sure you've got a good camera, or at least a basic camera. Like, keep taking pictures, bro.
Yeah.
The one thing that a photographer told me, a friend of mine, Dino is like, one thing I'll tell you, bro. Just keep taking pictures, man. Just keep taking pictures. Doesn't matter of what. Just keep doing it. And as like when Barb came over, we took bare pictures. I must take about 400 pictures. I must have edited about 50. And then I sent them to him. He was like, "Where's the other 300, bro?"
I was like, "Where's the rest?" You said so many.
You're clicking away. Where's the?
Where are they? Right? But the pictures.
But let me tell you this though, videos. The one trick in photography that people get lost in, and this is domestic clients, consumer clients, business clients. It doesn't matter who you are. When they see a photographer in front of them, and that photographer could have clicked like 200 times, they're expecting 200 pictures. Yeah, but the fact is, out of those 200 pictures, you should only expect 10 to 20.
A very handful, small handful,
Because what's going to happen is, in those shots, if I've taken one picture, but I've took 6 images of that one like pose, I'm only going to send you one of those poses, because I'm going to select the best one out of that array.
Of those, yeah.
And like, I think this is something that's become a misconception, and it's something that the photography field battled left and right. But the fact is people have to realize that we're always only ever going to send you the best representation, rather than 6 of the same image. And if you have got a photographer sending you 6 of the same image and 200 pictures out of like 250, like, ask yourself a question there.
What have they edited?
Are they even editing it?
Not what have they edited. They might have edited all of them. They could be a junior photographer. You never know. Do you know what I mean? They might be doing it for the portfolio. But the fact of the matter is, you're not seeing the best representation of their work, because it's all mixed in with everything. There's nothing that shines. Do you know what I mean? And then you're looking through 200 pictures and you're like, oh, there's only like 5 or 6 in here that are good. But really, if he'd only sent you those 10 to begin with, you'd have been like, right, these are amazing.
Amazing, exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Quality over quantity, yeah.
But like, the one thing I will say, like, people always say that I always catch Jaden with a smile on his face. It takes about 200 images to get that smile. Just to that one picture smile, it takes about that amount of images. So to put it into context, keep taking pictures.
Definitely. I mean, the other thing we're going to look into is a newborn shoot. We've already started researching like the postures and the sorts of pictures that we want to capture. Did you guys have newborn shoots?
Well, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. No one was allowed to come to ours, so I couldn't really Literally, I was stuck indoors, right? But there's one next month, so we want to do something where we get some serious pictures on his first birthday, because we take pictures every day, we take videos every day, like literally without fail.
I know someone with a good camera, buff.
Oh yeah, can you send me their details, please? But it's true.
They'll only send you six photos.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I might need to ask for a few more than 6 pictures, but you know what I mean. Let's see what he sends over, right?
Cake smash. She wants to do a cake smash.
That would be class. That would be class. Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's just do that one Friday afternoon, bro.
But I don't know if she wants Kaylin to do the cake smash or if she wants to do the cake smash. That's what I don't know. Yeah, or just all of us just have a cake fight and then you just take the pictures. That's an even better idea.
That's good because I don't like cake.
Not saying you won't get hit with it, but you just have to.
Bro, you hit the camera with cake, you get no pictures back. I'll tell you that for free.
No, but yeah, we've got to start planning, right? We've got a month to kind of get something together. So we want to look at things and yeah. See, I knew she wanted to cake. I can't wait for it because we've got to find somewhere to do it where it don't get too messy. I think kitchen's going to be the best bet.
Or garden.
If the weather's good, yeah.
If the weather's good.
Yeah, true. But Akash, we're an hour and 10 minutes in. Obviously, have you got any more questions for us? Because you got.
I think I'm pretty much covered. I'm sure I'll have questions when they're here.
So I was just going to ask you, actually, would you mind coming back, like, a month or two after they're born, give us a bit of an update?
I would try that. Yeah. I'll provisionally book it in now.
He's like,
I will pencil it with a very faint HB pencil. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, but I would. It would be nice to come back and obviously give you guys an update. But yeah, I'll speak to Bav and obviously we've got the group, so
yeah, we'll work out
something in the diary. Yeah,
definitely. You definitely need to come on once they're born.
I'll be a different man by then, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Bags down to here, and
it's about time you change, right?
Down to there.
You've decided to fly the nest from daddy's home, so let's see how you go when the babies come along. They'll also be daddy's little princess and prince, or you're the princess of the family, actually. So.
Mate, leave it out.
That's what used to be called at uni, like daddy's little princess.
That's not true. That is an absolute lie.
You just love how he's waiting for the end.
This was I know he's coming out with it all at the end. This was blatantly.
At the beginning, he was like, "We'll be nice to each other."
Exactly.
But throughout, he's had little digs. So I thought, let me just get my little bit in there
before we end this show. Yeah,
I've got many people who can vouch for this daddy's little princess as well. I just remember
I've clear footage of you in a Baywatch outfit that's gonna just destroy everything else. It's very slow motion moves.
Don't worry,
with that in mind, Jay, you'll be very proud of the slow motion video editing that I've.
You got good little creative action, have you? Yeah, let's throw out some videos.
Creative to creative. I'll share that to you.
Yeah, but no, look, on a serious one, like obviously, look, keep us up to date.
I will do. Thanks, guys.
Obviously, you need to come down and see Kaylin before.
I know, man.
The babies do come, so
definitely
we need to book that in soon as well.
Definitely, yeah, 100%. And thanks, guys, for having me on the show. It's been informative, funny at the same time. But thank you very much.
It's good seeing someone on the screen that can make Bav sweat.
Never. Come on, him. What are these people? What is this? It's good to see you, Akash.
Definitely, man.
Thank you very much,
I want to
guys.
say thank you again for sharing this time with us.
My pleasure.
And before you leave, I want to ask you a question.
Go for it.
What is your biggest fear about being a parent?
I think it goes back to what Tom asked. I think the biggest fear for me is living up to not everyone's expectations, because you got to get that out of your head. Yeah. Living up to your own expectations. Mm-hmm. But with that in mind, you shouldn't put too much pressure on yourself. It goes back to the 3 things that will always echo in my head about what that conversation I had with that guy at that wedding. I won't name him, but he just those 3 things: showing love, affection, and time. Mm-hmm. You can't beat those things. So I think that's the 3 things that I've overcome that pressure that I'm holding up on my own shoulders. So I think that's the biggest fear I've got, regardless of knowing those things. But you just got to roll with the punches. It's one of those things.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. This is something that I'll go back to next year.
Yeah, it will change.
We'll have it played on loop.
The thing is, your reflection could be completely different. If we look back at it in 2 years' time, you could have a completely different attitude at that point. Do you know what I mean? So I think it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the other thing is, obviously, I said time is one of them, giving them time. With what's going to be happening with the pandemic and lockdown and how it's going to impact my business, the other fear that kind of contradicts that point is, will I be able to find that time if, let's say, the retail sector does pick up to another level, and obviously e-commerce goes back to what it is, if not even more so, because more people are going out, more people want to buy clothes.
Yep.
How am I going to find that time? So that is another fear within there. But
you'll make it automatically, bro. The minute you hold those babies, everything's gonna change for you. You're gonna be like, you know what, I've got all the time in the world, and you'll do it. Trust me, you'll do it. Honestly, everything will change. Even if it means you wake up earlier or you go sleep later or you do work, trust me, you'll make that time. Don't even worry about it, because as soon as it happens, everything changes and you'll be like, actually, what was I even stressing about? And you guys are going to smash it anyway. So
thank you, man.
I think the one thing, you're quite a positive mind. You're quite optimistic. I think the one thing that you got to carry on telling yourself is, I've got this.
Yeah. Self hype, yeah. Just like looking in the mirror. No, but seriously,
self-hype is one thing, but self-belief is another. If you believe in yourself that you can achieve, you will achieve.
100%. 90% of the battle is mentally, right?
100%. Yep.
So listen, Nisha's part with you for 6 years now. So
well, she's gonna be baby in 3.
Yeah, that's the point, right? That's what, I think I said that to you as well, right? She's gonna
shoot myself in the foot by saying that,
but listen, no, you guys will be all right. And obviously, look, if you need anything at all, you know where we are.
Thanks, guys.
Might be a few miles away, but we can always help. So
100%. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and once again, thanks for having me on the show.
No,
all the best to you guys.
Good evening.
See you guys.
Take care.
Take it easy, brother.
Bye. Jay.
Yes, bro.
What are you saying? What is Jaden saying?
Hey, he's pick up the lead here, bro.
Dude, best. See you later, Akash. Bye. Good riddance. Stay away from me. Nah, man, he's a good lad, man. He's a good lad. Guy, man. He's a good lad. Like we kind of clicked straight away at uni.
Yeah, I can see why.
Not many people that you can click with on that level.
No.
And that's why I've been supporting the cause as well, right? It's like, listen, at the end of the day, if you can't, I'm gonna go somewhere else and buy clothes. But I'm going out there to buy next man's clothes who I'm putting money into a bank account that keeps ticking over. Come on, man, get out of it. Well, for what? When his clothes are actually, trust me, they're actually really good.
Very nice.
Good quality as well.
Yeah.
I think I wore most of the t-shirts on these podcasts. I probably wore the orange hoodie on here as well before. So, you got to be comfortable to wear it. So, and yeah, me and him just got along from day one. From first day, we pretty much met. So, good lad, comes from good family and stuff. So, he'll be all right when it comes to the twins. I just can't wait to see it. It'll be good fun to see. Yeah, it'll be good fun. Be. But what's Jaden saying? Is he giving us, what's the update on him for this week?
He's been sleeping in his own room. Wakes up about 3 a.m, cries for a bit, plays around a little bit, wakes up again at 6 o'clock. Okay, that's why Reshma's been cursing, isn't it? Because she's been the one tending to him at those times.
Why? That's normal, tell her.
Huh? Not in our house. Normally, a man like me would run out and do them things. Do you know what I mean?
Any teeth come through?
No teeth just yet, ma'am. He is teething. We see him dribbling and things like that. We've been and checked out a nursery. So that's the next thing on the agenda, is to get his nursery space booked and like those days sorted out. And bro, it's not cheap. No, it's not cheap.
Well, it's a conversation we've had at home, but we haven't even got that far.
Have you not? So I know Reshma's looking to go back to work like July, August time. So ideally we want to get him in by the beginning of July so that we can have some settling in like a week or two there. Just to make sure. But literally, like, for the past few weeks, we've been discussing it, and we kept saying to ourselves, we'll do 3 days where he's there full time, and then 2 days I'll look after him, and then started talking a bit more seriously about it. And obviously, after having shot a wedding at the weekend and talking to the people that we work with for weddings, it's evident that there could be weddings coming in a bit more frequently. Things are opening out, and there's going to be dates that I will need to fulfill. And the fact of it is, if the nursery costs like 1,002, well, put it this way, for that 3 days, it was about 850 quid. For 3 days and 2 half days, it's about 1150. So if I can do 2 to 3 weddings a month, I'll cover that. So that's the goal. Do you know what I mean? But the thought process in this is that if we've got booking for a wedding on a Friday and that's his half day home, or that's his day at like home, there's no one to look after him, because I'm flexible in my work, but Reshma's not, my mum and dad aren't. And so
but are these obviously you've been to see a couple of nurseries and stuff, do you have to give them set days, or is it quite flexible?
No, you have to. So when you commit, you're committing to set days. So if you say that you're going to, like, if you book full time for Wednesday to Friday and then Monday, Tuesday half days, they will give you the allowance on the half days to possibly flex up if you need the additional help, but you can't change those days. So instead of doing like a half day on a Monday and a half day on a Friday and then the 3 full days in the middle, you can't do that. And the fact is, it's simple. The reason why you can't is because they've got those dates, like those days filled out with other people so that they can get to capacity, right?
No,
and that's that's what they're fighting. They've got their own battles in the nursery scene and things like that. But it is what it is. Like, the money's got to come from somewhere. We need to go out and earn. And I want him. One thing that I found is recently, whenever we're meeting people that he's met, like my grandfather, like my sister and brother-in-law, he'll just start crying. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite sad, because with my granddad comes every 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And so of late, where Jaden's acting scared and crying and not going to him, emotionally that hurts. Do you know what I mean? Obviously,
but I think they go through
I see it on my granddad. I know it's a phase, and the difficulty is trying to explain that to my granddad. Obviously, like, he's 80 odd years old now, and he's lived a good life. He's seen us all grow. Do you know what I mean? And he just wants to be part of Jaden's life. So, the computer upstairs is not as strong as it used to be. You know what I mean?
Of course, 100%. And
to explain to him that it's a phase he's going to go through. It will get a little bit easier. Do you know what I mean? It just needs time. But literally, the fact that he's been around the 4 of us, and when other people come onto the scene, he panics. That's an issue for me. Do you know what I mean? I want him to be comfortable enough to go to other people like he used to be.
Yeah.
So obviously, where he started to get his personality, he's become a bit more attentive and realizing his surroundings. He's very judgmental. And if he's like, when we took him into the nursery, bruv, from the outside, as I'd put my mask on, and then as soon as we got through the doors and I picked him up, he started bawling. And I'm like, "Why are you crying for?" Like, it's me. You know me. It's me and your mum. And literally for about 10 minutes, he was bawling. Then we got him to quieten down. He actually went over to the nursery worker for like 30 seconds and actually turned him around to us. He started bawling again. So, like,
I think that's natural.
that is the impact of what lockdown has had. Like, he doesn't know anything else.
But in a way, it's good you don't go to strangers as well.
I mean, you say that, but we're not talking about strangers. We're talking about family members.
I'm talking about when you go to the nursery. The thing with the family members, and I might be wrong, but it will take. Kids take time to adapt, right? As it is, we know that, right? When they're really young, little babies, they don't know who they're going to, so they just go wherever they feel the warmth and comfort. When they begin to find out who people are and they can see people and be like, this isn't my usual 4 people I'm surrounded with every day. Initially, they will, but as he gets, give him a couple of weeks, not even months. It'll be literally a couple of weeks, and he'll be back to normal. And it'll be like, I remember seeing you, because we had that with Caleb. Yeah. He's seen a couple of people, like even with my sister and stuff. He'd see her and he'd be like, I don't want to go to you. I don't know, where do you come from? I might see you every single day on FaceTime. And I'm talking every day.
This is the thing. He does. Like, my granddad calls every single day.
And he'll see her in person and be like, oh,
and they'll talk on the phone and it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And now when he sees her, he's like, actually, yeah, you're cool. Actually, I know who you are now. I recognize you. and you know how to play with me, and I can get away with everything with you as well. So yeah, don't worry about it. You can play now, and now he's fine. No, that's all it is, right? He's like, oh yeah, I can do what I want with you. Yeah, got you wrapped around my little finger as well. So I think that's just his aim, and he just does it to everyone. He just like gives him a little cheeky smile, and he's like, okay, you can do what you want now, Caleb. Don't worry. But now he's fine. That's it, he's fine, and it will happen. Like, bro, we all like that. We're like, wow, like, what's lockdown doing to him? Like, he's not interacting. You know, when you see someone he sees,
it gives you a concern, though, right? Like, it makes you concerned
100%.
about it, right? And obviously, nobody wants their baby to be the one that cries when it goes to everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate, honestly, I hate kids like that as it is, right? Not in a bad way. I'm not.
I think hate is a bit of a strong word here, Bob.
Yeah, but I know, but not even people that you know, but even when you've got people outside, those kind of kids that are like constantly just crying at any given thing, like, oh, I didn't get my way, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that, I'm just going to cry. When actually, you know, if you've just got them in that habit of, you know, just interacting with people, they just learn a lot more. So now I think as Caden's got older, yes, that FaceTime to help. He sees a couple of people, he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. I've seen this person before, I can go to them. And the other thing is, the other thing I've learned, and I don't know if it works with all kids, is never rush to just give him to that person once they walk through the door. Let them figure out that, oh, they're in my house.
To that person, yeah.
They're going to be here for a bit. And then automatically he will be like, actually, I don't mind going there. Oh, fine, take me, or let me go. Kaylin will just like.
Well, you try telling that to a family member that ain't seen your kid for the last 4 weeks in lockdown.
No, but that's the point. I get that. And for them, it's difficult. But even if it means you're just literally holding them just for a little while, not even long, I'm talking like 5-10 minutes. And in that time, he will just realize, okay, they're staying, they're in the house with us, they know what it, and then they get used to it. It's when, and especially, I do it all the time, when Kaylin just wakes up, and sometimes he'll just wake up and you take him from a nap somewhere downstairs, but you take him a couple of minutes to be like, oh, I'm back downstairs again.
Feels a bit disoriented.
And then he's like, all right, fine, I'm back to it again. Leave me alone. But they just need those couple of minutes just to get back to. But I wouldn't worry. Lockdown hasn't helped anyone, but these kids they're the future babies, man. They'll be all right. They'll be back to it soon, man. And if you guys are looking at nurseries, that's a good start, because they need that social interaction.
Well, this is it. Yeah, we've always known that them even just getting a short amount of time at nursery will help them develop, because he'll be egged on by other kids and what their abilities are, right? So he'll try and imitate and grow that way. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be all right.
Yeah, we need to start looking at some. And if you got any decent ones, just drop me.
Mate, I got one at literally like 3-minute walk from my house. So if you want a recommendation, it's right there.
No, that's too far. It's average speed now to get there. It takes too long. Otherwise, it was all right before, man. Back in the day, it was a quick little journey up there. But no, we do need to start, because I just want to be honest, we don't need to put him in. If we don't have to, we don't really need to put him in. But I want him to go there maybe one day or half a day or a couple of half days or whatever.
Like, a friend of mine always told me, even before Jenny was born, he was like, look, you might not need to send the kid to nursery. Like, you might have the childcare at home or whatever it is, but they learn differently when they go to nursery. Especially within that, between the 6 months and 18-month period, like, they're sponges, right? Everyone says this that we've had on the show. They soak up so much at that point that is the prime time to get them in. So, like, although we're saying we're doing for, the amount of days and hours that will suit our working patterns, like, it's not just the working patterns. We do want him to have that interaction. We want him to be socially comfortable as well. Do you know what I mean?
And they do learn. They do learn things at nursery. I know it's all play and all the rest of it, but it's not even learning off, the nursery teachers out there. It's actually learning.
They'll learn off each other.
Yeah, that's all it is. And they'll have that communication with each other, and they'll pick things up off each other, and they learn the aspect of actually sharing toys and, having that understanding with another kid. So my kid is like, no, that's all mine. I want all the toys.
That's what I don't want my kid to be. I don't want my kid to be like, oh, mine.
Man, like, he goes for anything. He's like, oh, even my hat I'm wearing, right? Earlier today, he's staring at it like I put it on his head. And he's like, yeah, I like this. Keep it on me instead. I was like, no, but it's my hat. I need it back. Or it's a remote control. He'll come to me. He'll like, I want the remote. Then when I say, oh, can I have it back, please? He'll give it back to you. But he wants to know I can do this. Or he takes my phone. He holds my phone up. Like, oh, okay. He tries to take a little bite of it. I say, no, you can't eat that. Like, can I have it back, please? And he gives it back. But you want that kind of, you can take a toy, play with a toy. If someone asks for it, you give it to them, kind of thing. And you need that interaction with kids. So, listen, they'll get there, man. I'm looking forward to this next few months we've got going ahead.
Yeah, man. It's an interesting
this
time.
Is where
mate.
the journey begins, when they go to nursery, right? So they pick up everything, learn everything.
Well, it's the next chapter in their journey. Yeah, man, definitely.
Plus,
it's going to be of anxiety for us as well. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I think I'll be all right.
Yeah, as in the sense, it's probably going to be something that Reshma will be a lot more anxious about than I probably will, granted. But the fact is, it'll be the longest amount of time that you've ever spent away from him.
Not if he does half days, I'll be all right, because I've done it at work a few times and I'm like, all right, cool, fine, I can, But to be fair, in the last few days, like the time I've spent with him has been absolutely minimal because I've been so busy at work. Like I don't even have the time in the last couple of days. So I'm hoping that this weekend now, birthday weekend and that nice little chill out ones, will be all right. So,
yeah, man.
See what we can do. But mate, it's an hour and a half in.
I know. I was wondering when you were going to call it.
9 o'clock, in it. 9 o'clock. It's normally we start at 8, right? 8 till 9 done. So we call it at 9. But no, good show. Thank you again, Akash, for joining us. I hope you're still listening. But Jay, have a good week. Have a good evening.
And you, mate. And you. We will speak to you next week. This has been an awesome episode. Thank you, Bav. This is HinduDad signing out. Peace.